I'm really proud of something. I was wondering if I could share it with you. I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopinopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous.
Watch out, because Trump almost explodes when this tag team roast him so brutally that it left no room for a comeback. That's what happened when Jimmy Kimmel and Robert De Niro went after Donald Trump, hitting him with punchlines so sharp that not even his signature spray tan could mask the sting.
I'm not hysterical. I laugh when people say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
If you're a reasonable person, you should have Trump derangement syndrome. Right. And by the way, I think he has derangement syndrome about us, too. The fact of the matter is, this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person. And that's a bad combination. And I think what we're forgetting, I keep forgetting it, and I have to keep reminding myself, is he's not just running for president. He's running to stay out of prison. And that's a pretty powerful thing. He is literally running for his...
No late-night host annoys Donald Trump more than Jimmy Kimmel. It's almost like Trump has a radar that starts beeping every time Kimmel cracks a joke about him. And Kimmel, trust me, he's not letting up anytime soon. Before the election, when asked about Trump possibly winning another term, Kimmel just shook his head and said that he's been hearing people say he has Trump derangement syndrome. And he just agrees, adding that if you're paying enough attention, you should have noticed it. Kimmel calls Trump both dangerous and stupid. He compares him winning the election to handing car keys to someone who just failed their driving test 5 times and hoping they figure it out on the highway. Kimmel continues by saying that Trump wasn't just running for president, he was running to avoid prison. He cracks a joke and says Trump running for presidency isn't just an election, it's an escape plan for him. He also compares him to a guy hiding from the cops in plain sight, hoping enough people vote to make the sirens go away.
In Washington, it was Take Your Billionaire Friend's Kid to Work Day. Donald Trump was walking around the White House grounds with Elon Musk's son X. Why, I don't know. Maybe Elon's nanny got doged, but there he was, 4 years old, running right beside the President of the United States.
Little X, your father's a nutcase.
I know.
He jumps like a weirdo.
I can jump too. Wanna see? Jump, jump.
You're a total
jump,
disaster.
Jump, jump, jump.
That could be a movie. I would see that, right? Fat Man and Little Boy.
Well, enough people did. Trump won, and now he's back in the White House, holding grudges like it's part of his job description. He's still threatening to arrest political opponents, still pressuring networks, and yes, he still tried to get Disney involved, just because Kimmel made fun of him. Imagine calling up Mickey Mouse because a joke hurt your feelings, Kimmel had laughed. And then there was his old beef with 60 Minutes. He thought CBS should be shut down just because they edited his interview in a way he didn't like.
Wow, you know, I was thinking today, what a dumb guy we picked for president. You know how he fired all those federal workers without even knowing what they do? Well, a judge today ordered thousands of them to be rehired just in time for the government to shut down tomorrow. Things are running like a Swiss clock. You know, there was a time when firing people was the only thing Donald Trump was good at. He can't now even seem to do that. I mentioned last night the new head of the Department of Education, wrestling magnate Linda McMahon, is in the process of cutting her staff in half. She wants to lay off 50% of her workforce. Republicans do not like the Department of Education.
Now, after the election, Jimmy Kimmel leans back and sighs, saying that he thought they all picked a dumb guy for president. And honestly, he's got a point. Because the same president who used to brag about firing people just laid off thousands of federal workers without even knowing what they do. Turns out that matters, and a judge immediately ordered them all to be rehired. Firing people was supposed to be his one skill, and he can't even do that right. His administration runs like a group project where the leader forgot there was a project.
For 45 days, only 1,417 to go. Today, he set in motion his plan to dissolve the Department of Education. He directed his new Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, the one from wrestling, that's right. WWE co-founder Linda McMahon will supervise the important work of dismantling the Department of Education. Good for him, though. Another genius tactical move. I'll tell you why. He keeps getting attacked by all these smart people. What does he do? He outlaws smart. There will be no more smart. Of course, it's also a win for Linda McMahon. the less educated we are, the more likely we are to believe that wrestling is real. And it's interesting.
And then there's education. Trump, in his infinite wisdom, decided the best person to run the Department of Education was a WWE executive. That's right, Linda McMahon, who spent years managing professional wrestlers, is now in charge of managing the nation's schools because when it comes to education, who wouldn't trust someone whose biggest achievement was making sure The Undertaker had a dramatic entrance? Kimmel continues to throw shades at Donnie Deals, saying that the president promised to bring prices down on day one, but it's been many days, and the only thing going down are people's bank accounts. A new poll also shows that most people aren't happy with how he's handling the economy, probably because grocery shopping now feels like applying for a loan. Inflation keeps rising, but Trump seems more focused on turning the White House into his personal showroom. If things keep going this way, tourists might have to pay a White House gate fee like it's a Mexican nightclub.
Where he struck a pose like as if he'd got the lead in Evita.
So you want a little picture like this? Perfect. Go ahead. Are you guys ready? Come on, we'll go through.
Sir, if you want to speak to us later, too, when we're closer, that would be great.
Perfect. Thank you, press. Right this way.
Why would anyone want a picture like this? I mean, it's like he's just about to start the YMCA dance, and then the last time I saw him pose like that was in front of 600 cheeseburgers. But the Burger King bragged about all the great shows he's going to bring in. He's promising big Broadway hits like Phantom of the Opera, but not Hamilton. Hamilton was supposed to run at the Kennedy Center, but they backed out in protest, which turns out is just fine with Donald Trump.
On another episode of Kimmel's Late Night Show, he continues to grill Trump, this time over his latest dramatic pose at the Opera House, where Trump strikes a pose like he's reenacting Titanic, except instead of standing on a ship, he's just standing in front of reporters trying to show what an awesome pose spreading his arm is. The last time he struck a pose this serious, there were 600 cheeseburgers in front of him. At this point, the whole thing feels less like a cultural event and more like a badly scripted reality show. If things keep going this way, don't be surprised if his next big performance is him dramatically ripping open his suit jacket to reveal a bedazzled Trump 2028 t-shirt underneath.
Our next guest is unquestionably among the greatest actors of all time. He's a two-time Oscar winner, whom you can see alongside Bobby Cannavale and Rose Byrne in the movie Ezra. It opens in theaters May 31st. Please say hello to Robert De Niro.
Kimmel wanted to make this roast extra special, so he brought in Robert De Niro for backup. The crowd went wild as the legendary actor, known for playing tough guys and grumpy old men, joined forces with late night's biggest Trump critic. Together, they took turns making fun of Trump's latest antics, like a comedy duo that had been practicing for years. De Niro had his classic angry face, Kimmel threw in his quick jokes, and the audience couldn't get enough.
In all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's so stupid. Look at the lame, inane things that he said. He's so stupid, he can't even say anything clever or smooth. He's a moron.
Trump's latest rant includes misspelled words, a conspiracy theory about De Niro taking too many fake punches in movies, and, of course, a dramatic call for him to wake up. Kimmel points out that, for someone who claims to hate Hollywood, Trump sure spends a lot of time reviewing actors. Maybe he missed his true calling as a Rotten Tomatoes critic, but instead of movie ratings, he just hands out petty nicknames and one-star insults. De Niro, of course, doesn't need a teleprompter to respond. He's been making fun of Trump for years. The only difference is that De Niro plays tough guys in movies. Trump just plays one on Twitter.
I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk, he's a dog, he's a pig, he's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. well, I'd like to punch him in the face.
De Niro sits in another interview and goes off on Trump, calling him stupid and pure evil. He doesn't hold back, shaking his head at Trump's endless stream of nonsense. It's not just the things Trump says, it's how confidently he says them, as if he's cracked the code of the universe when, in reality, he can't even crack a history book. De Niro says the man has turned cluelessness into an art form, managing to sound both completely lost and overly confident at the same time. If being disconnected from reality was a job, Trump would be CEO. The scary part isn't just that Trump talks like this, it's that millions cheer him on. De Niro faces everyone and reminds them that this isn't a reality show. It's actually real life.
He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system. And I'm not calling him, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him, there's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see, ever. It's funny, I was just thinking that he actually became president. He could have done good things. Instead, he had to do it all wrong. He's so...
Every time Trump's name comes up, De Niro doesn't hold back. With the same intensity he brings to his iconic movie roles, he tears into Trump's rant, looking almost amused at the sheer absurdity of it all. Apparently, the man who once played a feared mob boss is now getting life advice from someone who once sold steaks at Sharper Image. De Niro calls out Trump's obsession with throwing insults like a kid who just discovered the word loser and won't let it go.
I'm gonna say one thing, fuck Trump. It's no longer down with Trump, it's fuck Trump.
Trump in turn couldn't resist. His thumbs found their way to the keyboard, and before anyone could wrestle the phone from his grip, the rant was live. A fresh batch of Trumpism spilled into the world. Total disaster. The worst roast in history. Worse than a well-done steak. Rigged. It was the usual script, but with a new twist. Trump called De Niro a mental midget and total loser, asserting that De Niro's acting talents had greatly diminished. He had suddenly also declared himself a stand-up comedy expert too. Forget the fact that legends like Pryor, Carlin, and Chappelle are universally revered. Trump, whose humor repertoire mostly consists of calling people losers and mistaking sarcasm for flattery, had spoken.
I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. But we vowed we would not allow terrorists. I owe this city a lot. And that's why it's so weird that Donald Trump is just across the street. Because he doesn't belong in my city. I don't know where he belongs, but he surely doesn't belong here.
He continues to call Kimmel overrated. Worst comedian ever, maybe in history. Maybe ever. Does he actually watch the show? Highly unlikely, but logic has never been an obstacle when there's like a good rant to be had. In his mind, late-night comedy needed saving. We need to make talk shows great again. Bring back the classics, Leno, Carson, me. Because if there's one thing missing from late-night television, it's an hour of Trump roasting people in real time. Actually, scratch that. Twitter already tried that, and it didn't end well. Ladies and gentlemen, the saga continues. But for tonight, the House wins, and to see if there is a comeback, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on our daily updates.